We have an activation proudly sponsored by Hollywood Bet, where you can walk away with the Brentford football replica kit. Proudly sponsored by Hollywood Bet. All you need to do is to sign up just behind the please tell him Ray can hear you. You can hear it now? Can you hear it? No.
I can hear Brajam, but I can hear him. Bye, cookies, Amo. Right? 1.5 now. No, you can't. But I'll cue him for him for now.
It's day 5 of the CAF Women's Champions League COSAFA qualifiers, the final day for Group A drama, and it's the day of reckoning in this group, the day Zesco Ndola will learn and Ntopwa will accept their fate in this competition. And this is the lay of the land in Group A. Sundowns leading the group with 6 points, 2 faultless displays. Ntopwa right at the bottom of this group, taking on Zesco Ndola, who have won once and lost once in this competition. Mamelodi Sundowns and Namibia's Beauties will tie the bow of Group A, but first there is a score to settle between Zesco Ndola and Ntopwa. The Zippy Zambians and a Malawian team with a point or two to prove. The Zambians dressed in green and orange. Different kind of kit for Ntopwa this afternoon, not in the red, in the yellow with the green trim. Sunday's happenings was a crushing blow for both, but they've had the time to pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and go again for this very important match. Now, the Zesco Ndola goalkeeper and defense has remained unchanged throughout the competition. But in the engine room, Dorothy Daka and Muchinga make their return to the field, and Chitundu, their captain, is urged to play closer to the front, where she will join Ndlovu as well as Piri. Those will be her 2 supporting actresses on either side. Joyce Tepe, the official from Botswana, will be taking charge of this match, taking charge of matters on the field of play. She will of course be assisted by her 3 assistants as well as the 2 VAR officials. Nandipa Menze and Gimo Grace, those are the 2 individuals operating the VAR technology. Hope they have a good game. Hope these 2 ladies have a good game, and hopefully it's going to be a good contest to start the day off and to end Group A off. Ntopwa have no chance of a semi-final spot. Their plane ticket is booked already. Their fate is certain. Their confidence is bruised. But have they saved their best for last? They've got nothing to lose and everything to prove. And Emily Nkwazi starts for the first time in goal. And she is one of 4 alterations Isaac Jomo Osman has opted to make for this final match. Ntopwa's attack is yet to fire in Auckland Park in this competition, but will the combination of Mtochoma, Chindeya and Banda light their fire for the first time? As for William Zulu, he stated before the tournament and throughout the tournament that he believes his team can go all the way, but their fate does lie in the hands of other teams, both in this group and in Group B and C. Isaac Jomo Osman has been smiling all tournament long, despite the results his team have been subjected to. He is a passionate promoter of the women's game. Ntopwa ladies are ready to go. Zesco Ndola girls having their final team huddle before they lock horns for the first time and for the final time in this competition. This team have their sights set on the semi-finals, and according to form, Zesco Ndola are expected to win. But when the pressure is on, when the semi-finals are so close and within touching range, pressure is a funny thing, and pressure can do funny things to very good teams. And Zesco Ndola certainly are one of those. The coaches exchange pleasantries. Isaac Jomo Osman up against William Zulu. Both coaches ringing the changes throughout the tournament. And he's hoping his side can produce a shock that we are yet to see in this competition from his Malawian outfit. Seems like everyone is ready to go. Jomo Osman has taken his seat, and let's hope we should be privy to a rather spectacular show, just like we were yesterday in both of those matches in Group B and C. But this is a all Group A affair between Zesco Ndola girls of Zambia and Ntopwa Football Club. And it's a pleasure once again to keep you company for this 12 o'clock kickoff. The first of two matches heading your way yet again. It's been a tournament full of double headers, full of action. Yesterday we saw red cards, clumsy goals, wonder goals. Let's see what happens today. That's a decent ball into the box over the head of Piri, who didn't jump. She hangs it up in there. Early chance for Zesco Ndola girls. Massive opportunity that's hit the side netting. Free header unmarked at the back post, and Chitundu could only hit the side netting from very close range. We'll have a look at the angle that was available to her. It will go down as a real golden chance for Chitundu, who has scored in this competition before, once from the spot against Beauties in round 1. She starts again. Does Bwalia down the right hand side. She donned the captain's armband against Mamelodi Sundowns in the second half. It's blocked there after Lydia Mtuchoma tried her luck. First corner kick of the contest falls in the way of Ntopwa. Sarah Mulimbika with the outswinger, with the one that speared past the penalty spot. Big chance here for Ntopwa. They're still looking for their first goal in the competition, remember. Bwalia closed down. Ntopwa certainly will be up for this contest. Counted out against the Beauties, counted out against Mamelodi Sundowns, losing both of those matches. Not many would have given them a chance this afternoon to take on Zesco Ndola. But anything can happen on any given day. Ball over the top. The chase is on for Ndlovu. Ndlovu doesn't get there first. Instead, Chabel Bengo just helps the ball out into touch. Another ball into the box, another chance for their captain perhaps. Piri again. Cruises past one, Piri into the box. Ntopwa wants a handball, they're going to get it. Good start to the game by this right inside forward or right winger, that is Piri. His team were defensively resolute in the first half against Beauties, and then things started to unravel in the second. The flag has stayed down and it's come off the post and then off Piri, and then it goes wide. And then eventually the flag does go up. The Lions ladies are urged to allow play to flow, allow the attack to reach its conclusion. That was the offside, very, very close indeed. The Zambian supporters making a good amount of noise in the stands already. Not too many people have made their way into the ground as of yet, but that will change throughout the day, throughout the game. As Lydia Ntopwa marked out of the game against Beauties on Sunday. Can she get closer to her attacking teammates? Piri again. A very smooth operator indeed, and that is a jaw-dropping through ball, and the goalkeeper has made a bit of a mess of that. Mulimbika. Chomba starts again in the heart of that Zesco Ndola defense. That was some through ball, and not the greatest bit of goalkeeping by Emily Nkwazi, who was a second half substitute against Beauties. She came on after Mercy Sikelo conceded a Natalie Hikwam free kick. She did concede in that second half, and she's watching the bounce very, very carefully. We saw how the bounce was deceitful and tricky to deal with in the second match yesterday. Breaks here for Chindeya. Now Shabal Bengo tries to slip one through. Joyce Makwea, then Shabal Bengo again. It's not to be. But this is more of an attacking start by Ntopwa. We haven't seen them all too often play football on the front foot. In this competition, that is. Hazel Nali. Ndlovu helps it on its way to Judith Soko, who travels down the left. Chance again for the captain. This is going to be a beautiful goal. A wonderfully worked goal, and that's number 2 for her in this competition. A true captain's goal by Chitindu. Zesco Ndola shake themselves off after that defeat against Mamelodi Sundowns. They were competitive in that game, but they weren't really an attacking threat. Hasn't taken them long to open the scoring here today. Chitundu from very close range. The goalkeeper was isolated. She had it all to do by herself. The defense of Ntopwa were absolutely nowhere. They worked it ever so nicely down that left-hand side with Chomba, Judith Soko, and then Ndlovu. And when it fell to Chitundu, she made absolutely no mistake. No need for the first touch, just the finishing touch. 4th goal of the competition for the Zambians. We know that Zambia and Malawi often churn out terrific talents, tremendous teams, and today that is no different. In the first match of the day and the 9th match of the competition so far, yesterday Young Buffaloes defeated Lesotho's Kick for Life women by 3-1. Olympic de Moroni drew 2-2 with Costa do Sol. And in fact, in both of those matches, we saw 2 comebacks. Young Buffaloes conceded first against the tournament debutants, and then they responded with 3 unanswered goals to win the match, 3-1. And then Costa do Sol pulled off a wonderful comeback, coming back from 2 goals down to draw level in the second half against Olympic de Moroni. Now Ntopwa, the first to concede today. Ndlovu. Shabalbengo needs to combine with her teammates. She might do so here. Chance for Ntopwa, maybe for their first. It's a 2v2 situation and they rush it. They just don't have the same potent attacking instincts as some of the other teams in this group. Piri gives up the chase very early on.
This one up.
10 minutes up, 1 goal up already. Zesco Ndola. Piri faces Ruth Nirongo again. And this is where she wants to win a corner kick sneakishly, but she doesn't. Emily Nkwazi with an early concession. She did concede in the second half against the Beauties too when she came on. Judith Soko Ndlovu. Ndlovu didn't get a start against Mamelodi Sundowns ladies, so she would have been itching to get involved this afternoon. She's made a good impression so far. Zesco Ndola have made a really good impression so far. The bounce proving to be tricky, and Chitundu going wide. All 3 goal-scoring chances have fell to her, and she's managed to convert 1 of them. And this time around, many more players, many more defenders in the box for Ntopwa, but still unconvincing as ever. It's thrown in there by Soko. Chitundu tries to flick it on. She got a slight nick. A pressurized start for Ntopwa to try and deal with. That was a really clever attempt by Chitundu. Lovely improvisation. And alert goalkeeping by Emily Nkwazi. Have a look at this. Straight from the throw-in. Flicks it on. Nearly crept in there. Corner kick again. Zesco Ndola pushing. They want to establish their comfort level very early on. Get that second goal very early on. Because they will know that Ntopwa are heading out, and they won't go silently. Chitundu, wrong pass. Wasn't the right pass, and she probably knows that now. Tomba. Ntopwa have waited for this tournament for months. Countless countrymen back home, their friends, their families, their rivals back home will hope they can leave a mark on this competition. Still yet to do so, but there is still time in this match. And they were very competitive in certain moments against Mamelodi Sundowns, competitive against Beauties in certain moments, but nothing sustained. Piri wasn't balanced enough to deliver that cross, and that was always going to be the end result. One of the brightest sparks we've seen from Zesco Ndola so far in this competition. One goal as well in this competition in match day 1. And the Zambian champions will not be concerned with what happens in the 3 o'clock match, especially if they win this one. However, whether they win or lose here and now, other teams in other groups can still influence their fate in this competition. And the results of other teams against the team that finishes last in the group will not count, so as to ensure fairness across the groups. And according to that bit of information, this result won't count for anything if Zesco Ndola are to win and Ntopwa are to finish last. But that won't change the identity of Zesco Ndola, the way in which they will play. That's a poor pass. Ntopwa might be punished again with Ndlovu. She cuts it back. She might just go for it. She was eventually closed down, and look at that attempt. High and wide. William Zulu did play his cards quite close to his chest against Mamelodi Sundowns ladies. But he would have given his Zesco Ndola girls a different kind of instruction for this match. To really go at Ntopwa, who have folded under pressure before in this competition. 6 times before, in fact. They lost 3-0 against Sundowns and 3-0 against Namibia's Beauties. January. He's been the captain for Ntopwa all season long, all competition long. Started every single game, has started most of their games back home in the domestic regional season, as well as that championship playoff that Ntopwa did win to reach this point. Zesco Ndola ladies did so through slightly different means. Dorothy Daka. It evades her grasp. Now January. Dorothy Daka is trying her utmost best to win the ball back for Zesco Ndola girls, and she's fouled in the process. So it's still some interesting mystery as to who will feature in the semi-finals. Zesco Ndola girls will be hoping that it will be them, but they'll have to watch the 2 matches tomorrow to see how they unfold, how the match between Mamelodi Sundowns and the Beauties unfold later on. Chevelle Bengo will go for it. Perhaps it was better suited just to deliver that ball to one of the centre halves in and around the box, win the second ball. Here she is, the lady that just took that free kick, Chevelle Bengo, to her captain, January. Good ball through the lines. First time around, but not the second time around. As Hazel Nali invites the pressure and puts Bwalia under so much pressure, who eventually tumbles. It wasn't the greatest of throw-ins to Lydia Ntopwa, who is probably the shortest player on the field. Look at Piri go. They haven't been able to stop her in this game so far. Piri, wonderful ball into the box. And it's nodded high and wide by Mulubwa. The skill and the pace. Captivating stuff by Piri. Couldn't ask for a better delivery. And those deliveries will keep on coming from that right-hand side, from the channel that Piri operates on. Chomba gives it straight back to Zesco Ndola ladies, making it too easy for them so far. For 5 uninterrupted days, the finest talents, the rarest gems of the southern COSAFA region have graced this stage. And for some, like Ntopwa, you can argue the lights have been too bright, the competition too fierce. But for others, this competition has unlocked something rather special within. And that applies most certainly to that lady. It will be a shame not to see her in the semi-finals. She isn't going to take the free kick, Piri. Zesco Ndola goals with the lead, thanks to a goal from their captain in the 8th minute, if I recall correctly. And from that free kick, a resulting corner kick. Ntopwa know that they need to be meaner, they need to be mightier than they have been before in this competition. Zesco Ndola already shaking off that Sundowns loss, getting back on the horse and hoping to ride into the semi-finals. Piri will get another bite at the cherry. Club established in 2003 in Malawi. The goalkeeper has made a mess of it again. Emily Nkwazi giving the ball to the captain and then Piri, and then she's come out again from her goal mouth. Not willing to lay her hands on the ball like she should. Proving rather persistent in these opening exchanges. Zesco Ndola girls. Piri leading from the front. Came off Chomba. The Zambian champions were shell-shocked and far too reserved when they encountered Mamelodi Sundowns 48 hours ago. And they played within themselves. They played with too much caution, fear and hesitation. No pressure in this match. That early goal, a bit of a wake-up call for the Malawians. Chappelle Benga was stopped in her tracks. Free kick, just a few yards shy of the halfway line for Ntopwa, for Ruth Nirongo, who can't take it very far. Now, the Zesco Ndola coach, William Zulu, did allude to the fact that he has selected a number 6 for this match, which just provides additional support and control in the midfield, the kind of which they did not have in that match against Sundowns. And the extra midfield has allowed Piri and Chitundu to really get forwards. This time the goalkeeper hangs on. Not only have Ntopwa struggled to get going in an attacking sense, they've really struggled to combine with one another, find one another with passes, with consistent passes. Their inability to look after the ball has costed them already. Chitundu into the box she goes, and out of the box it's kicked by Nirongo. Similar feeling for Isaac Jomo Osman, staunch promoter of the women's game back home in Malawi. If he wasn't, he wouldn't have taken on the risk of owning and running a football club, let alone taking on the risk of and the stress of being a football coach. And he does both. Just a medical timeout, yeah? A medical timeout because of that. Maybe just the way she went down and stretched. Hasn't been a lot of time for these players to recover and recuperate between these group matches. It is a short and very sweet tournament. Tournament that started on Friday afternoon at 12 o'clock with Zesco Ndola and Beauties, and the tournament will end this coming Sunday. Zesco Ndola hoping to be a part of that match on Sunday, but they need some divine intervention, perhaps some misfortune of some other teams in the competition. But for now it is still too early to say who those 4 semi-finalists are, what the 2 matchups will look like on Friday. And we have seen 2 versions of Zesco Ndola in this competition. Which version shall we get over the course of these 90 minutes. So far, they've made a very good start. But can they add to it? Judith Soko delivers really well. Piri was onside. Well, she thought so. This Lions lady made a very good decision moments ago. And I think she's made another good one here. Yes. Piri quite clearly and quite comfortably. Offside. The referee has just stopped play. For what? I'm not too sure. Play continues nonetheless with half an hour. There's Coach Desiree Ellis, who's nice and early here at this ground. She'll obviously be here for that Mamelodi Sundowns fixture against Namibia's Beauties later on, a match that kicks off at 3 o'clock. Not only is it a chance for Desiree Ellis to have a look at that Mamelodi Sundowns team, how they are going, but also scout this Zambian outfit. We know that Banyana and the Copper Bullets have this unique history and rivalry in the women's game. And it's no surprise to see the head coach of Banyana here. Muchinga. Chance again for Piri on the swivel. Man, this opening half hour really has flown by in the blink of an eye. Ntopwa have done well to recover and settle their nerves after conceding in the 8th minute, after conceding that Chitundu goal. Haven't seen too much of Yosefe so far. She's one of their most industrious and creative players. That was so against the Beauties. Chitundu, massive gap through the middle. She does look offside, Piri, but she's wanting to finish it. She does well to poke it across the face, and it's eventually tapped home, and eventually the flag does go up. Very clever by Piri. But it counts for nothing. Second time already that she's been spotted offside. And she could have done a little bit better than that. She could have timed her run a little bit better, but she'll keep on trying. And this defensive line of Ntopwa, not really stationary, not really uniform. And there's porous gaps that are starting to occur. Just a brief VAR check. No need for VAR that time around. It was quite comfortably offside. One-way Zambian traffic so far. Dorothy Daka to Chindundu. It's tackled from behind. Up to take this one is Piri, the centre half. Vast Piri. Not the delivery she was hoping to deliver. Well, yeah. Here's Piri once more. This time a much better delivery up towards Piri. And then taken off the toes of Mulubwa. Alert defensive work by Alu Fandika. another lady that has started all 3 matches for Ntopwa. Through the legs of the captain there. Bwalya measures it up. And it's catching practice for Emily and Kwazi. Now the break might be on for Ntopwa here. Masife has hardly touched the ball, which perhaps explains that kind of a touch. Here goes Shabelle Bengo, powerful runner. Not really technical, but very powerful. And if she can just sharpen the technical aspect to her game, Shabelle Bengo will be such a good midfielder. Possession as expected, mostly being owned and bossed by Zesco Ndola girls. And already the stands are slowly starting to fill up. Entrance or tickets are in fact free, so if you're thinking about it, if you have time, do come on down to the A.W. Miller Stadium here within the confines of the University of Johannesburg, on top of this mighty Koppie Hill that overlooks the city. And those are the instruments generating the noise. If they are to progress to the semi-finals, this is a good appetizer for Zesco Ndola, with their main supporter urging them on as their 12th man. Super fans are a uniquely African concept, and it makes this game of ours, in this continent of ours, in this region of ours, uniquely interesting and entertaining. That's not a kind drop ball or throw by the referee. Now Costa do Sol, the Mozambican team, the team with character and quality, could have become the first team to qualify for the Final Four yesterday if they had won. But their opponents, Olympic de Moroni, denied them passage to the Final Four yesterday. De Moroni thought that they had, the Mozambicans, after scoring not once but twice. But they let a 2-goal lead slip, which once again proves that nothing is quite certain in this topsy-turvy competition. And nothing is still certain for Zesco Ndola. Remember, debutants of this competition, Ntopwa, have featured in the CAF Women's Champions League COSAFA qualifiers before. So far, it looks like Zesco Ndola are playing with more of the experience. Form is on their side, as I alluded to. We've seen many times before in this competition how debutants are able to take the competition by storm. That's a useful delivery. Chance. Shot on target for Ntopwa. Some cross that was from Sarah Mulimbika. If they can get her more involved more often, then Ntopwa can maybe get into this match and really sink their teeth into Zesco Ndola girls, just like Mamelodi Sundowns were able to do, although Sundowns only beat Zesco Ndola by a 1-0 Didn't quite tell the full tale of that rather dominant story. And that man was playing keepy-uppies with his troops before the game got underway. Seems to be a happy mood in the camp, despite their 2 recent defeats. Mulimbika goes on. She's looked really good for Ntopwa. She's got a great touch, and she's got a great cross too. They need to find her more often. Because it doesn't seem like the technical quality will come from anywhere else except Mulimbika, maybe Mary Chindeya, as well as Yosife. We saw some of her quality come to the fore against Beauties. Qualia. Dorothy Daka. Qualia. Can't be offside from a throw-in, and Piri knows that, and she's going to capitalize on it, or at least try to. She took it to the byline, but she took it too far. And as much as this Group A has been the group of death, a lot of eyes have been drawn onto this group, for it is the biggest group in the competition, and the group, of course, that contains Mamelodi Sundowns, the most successful team in the history of this competition. But make no mistake about it, the other groups in this competition could very well contain the champions of the CAF Women's Champions League COSAFA qualifiers. More and more possession, longer spells on the ball for Zesco Ndola. Bonongwe. Yosife, has she timed her run nicely? I think she did. The ball was just slightly overcooked. Only the 5 minutes to go before half-time allows us to break for 15 minutes. First half has really flown by. Only the 1 goal so far. Ntopwa didn't concede in the first half against Beauties. But the capitulation started in the second half when Hikwam converted that rather wondrous free kick. January got it wrong. Her teammate Muchinga also got it wrong. Mulubwa does very well to find Piri. Immediate ball into the box. Meets the head of Banda. He's a tough customer. Pressure moments again for this Ntopwa defense, for their second choice goalkeeper, Emily Nkwazi. And a waste of a corner kick by Piri. Not the kind of quality we've grown accustomed to seeing from her in the competition. Although she was stifled and stopped by the likes of Asanda Hadebe on Sunday afternoon. Here's the goal scorer. Captain Chitundu, second goal of the competition for her. No player has scored more than 2 goals in the competition so far. And they've been ripped open right here again in Ntopwa. They're going to concede again. Piri scores, or it might have come off the defender last, but it doesn't really matter. They've doubled their advantage. It's piercing stuff from Zesco Ndola girls. And they've capitalized once again on Ntopwa's mistake. The defense went to sleep again. And it crawled under the arms of Emily Nkwazi. Ndlovu with the presence of mind just to guide the ball across the face, and I think that might go down as an own goal. But she did follow up, did Piri? She did cause the own goal, but it's not going to be hers. It's not going to be her goal. So glaring defensive and goalkeeping issues for Ntopwa in this competition. And the check is over, the goal stands. 2-0 to Zesco Ndola girls. On the brink of half-time. Ntopwa did concede 2 goals against Mamelodi Sundowns in that first half. They've conceded 2 goals here in the first half against Zesco Ndola. William Zulu will be very pleased with regards to what he has witnessed. Very pleased with their performance so far, their style of play, how they've made the mental adjustment from the Sundowns match. All of that has gone well, but Chitundu is receiving medical attention. A hefty 4 minutes to go. 4 minutes of referees added time. And the whole medical staff have been called upon. There's a thumbs up there from the team doctor of Zesco Ndola girls. He's invested not only in Zesco Ndola but in Zambian football, whether that be men's, women's, juniors, seniors. And we've all been rather invested into this tournament, a tournament that is yet to be cut down from 10 teams to 4 teams. It will be confirmed tomorrow afternoon, and there will be a rest day on Thursday for those 4 semi-finalists to ready themselves for what could be, for some of them, the match of their lives. January pounces on the loose ball, but she doesn't make the most of it. Chitundu is back to what she was doing before she took that knock. She played in the midfield against Mamelodi Sundowns. She played in the midfield against Beauties. This time around their captain has played a lot further to the front. We've seen that flick before. Piri. She's putting together a really impressive highlight package. It was brave stuff by Chitundu, and brave defending, risky defending. So at the start of the contest, Isaac Jomo Osman said that whatever the result, they would want to leave an impact on this competition, leave an indelible mark on this competition, but the only way really to do so from now on, in the second half at least, is to score a goal, score their first goal of the competition. They managed to do so 2 years ago in their first appearance. Seems like they are far from doing so, far from achieving a goal. We've only seen that one Mulimbika cross. Other than that, nothing to report on. From the Ntopwa point of view, Bengo misses it. Mulubwa travels into the box and lays it off brilliantly. And the shot is well wide. "30 seconds left of this first half. With 20 seconds to go, the referee has stopped play, although Zesco Ndola did win the ball high up the field with 20 minutes still to go. But be that as it may, the first half does come to an end between Zesco Ndola and Ntopwa. And Zesco Ndola have done what many people expected them to do, and that is to obtain not only a 1-goal lead, but a 2-goal lead against the Malawians Ntopwa Football Club. And that is the halftime scoreline for you. 2-0 to the Zambians, 10 goal attempts for the Zambians, 5 shots on target, and only that one header by Yosife has been on target for Ntopwa. So they again need to try and come out guns blazing in the second half and play as if they have nothing to lose, because it's Zesco Ndola. It's been the Zesco Ndola show from the first minute. See you again for the second half. This displays Ntopwa right at the bottom of this group, taking on Zesco Ndola, who have won once and lost once in this competition. Mamelodi Sundowns and Namibia's Beauties will tie the bow of Group A, but first there is a score to settle between Zesco Ndola and Ntopwa. The Zippy Zambians and a Malawian team with a point or two to prove. The Zambians dressed in green and orange, different kind of kit for Ntopwa this afternoon, not in the red, in the yellow with the green trim. Sunday's happenings was a crushing blow for both, but they've had the time to pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and go again for this very important match. Now, the Zesco Ndola goalkeeper and defense has remained unchanged throughout the competition. But in the engine room, Dorothy Daka and Muchinga make their return to the field, and Chitundu, their captain, is urged to play closer to the front, where she will join Ndlovu as well as Piri. Those will be her 2 supporting actresses on either side. Joyce Tepe, the official from Botswana, will be taking charge of this match, taking charge of matters on the field of play. She will of course be assisted by her 3 assistants as well as the 2 VAR officials. Nandipa Menze and Gimo Grace, those are the 2 individuals operating the VAR technology. Hope they have a good game. Hope these 2 ladies have a good game, and hopefully it's going to be a good contest to start the day off and to end Group A off. Ntopwa have no chance of a semi-final spot. Their plane ticket is booked already. Their fate is certain. Their confidence is bruised. But have they saved their best for last? They've got nothing to lose and everything to prove. And Emily Nkwazi starts for the first time in goal. And she is one of 4 alterations Isaac Jomo Osman has opted to make for this final match. Ntopwa's attack is yet to fire in Auckland Park. Hope they have a good game. Hope these two ladies have a good game, and hopefully it's going to be a good contest to start the day off and to end Group A off. Ntopwa have no chance of a semi-final spot. Their plane ticket is booked already. Their fate is certain. Their confidence is bruised. But have they saved their best for last? They've got nothing to lose and everything to prove. And Emily Nkwazi starts for the first time in goal. And she is one of 4 alterations Isaac Jomo Osman has opted to make for this final match. Ntopwa's attack is yet to fire in Auckland Park in this competition. Clumsy goals, wonder goals. Let's see what happens today. That's a decent ball into the box over the head of Piri, who didn't jump. She hangs it up in there. Early chance for Zesco Ndola girls. Massive opportunity that's hit the side netting. Free header, unmarked at the back post. And Chitundu could only hit the side netting from very close range. We'll have a look at the angle that was available to her. Second, the flag has stayed down and it's come off the post and then off Piri, and then it goes wide. And then eventually the flag does go up. The Lions ladies are urged to allow play to flow, allow the attack to reach its conclusion. And that was the offside. Very, very close indeed. Can she get closer to her attacking teammates? Piri again. A very smooth operator indeed, and that is a jaw-dropping through ball, and the goalkeeper has made a bit of a mess of that. Mulimbika. Chomba starts again in the heart of that Zesco Ndola defense. Can she get closer to her attacking teammates? Piri again. A very smooth operator indeed, and that is a jaw-dropping through ball, and the goalkeeper has made a bit of a mess of that. Mulimbika. Chomba starts again in the heart of that Zesco Ndola defense. Ndlovu helps it on its way to Judith Soko, who travels down the left. Chance again for the captain. This is going to be a beautiful goal. A wonderfully worked goal, and that's number 2 for her in this competition. A true captain's goal by Chitundu. Zesco Ndola shake themselves off after that defeat against Mamelodi Sundowns. They were competitive in that game, but they weren't really an attacking threat. Hasn't taken them long to open the scoring here today. Chitundu from very close range. The goalkeeper was isolated. She had it all to do by herself. The defense of Ntopwa were absolutely nowhere. She's made a good impression so far. Zesco Ndola have made a really good impression so far. The bounce proving to be tricky, and Chitundu going wide. All 3 goal-scoring chances have fell to her, and she's managed to convert one of them. And this time around, many more. She's made a good impression so far. Zesco Ndola have made a really good impression so far. The bounce proving to be tricky, and Chitundu going wide. All 3 goal-scoring chances have fell to her, and she's managed to convert one of them. And this time around, many more. A pressurized start for Ntopwa to try and deal with. That was a really clever attempt by Chitundu. Lovely improvisation. And alert goalkeeping by Emily Nkwazi. Have a look at this. Straight from the throw-in. Flicks it on. Nearly crept in there. It wasn't the greatest of throw-ins to Lydia Ntopwa, who is probably the shortest player on the field. Look at Piri go. They haven't been able to stop her in this game so far. Piri. Wonderful ball into the box. And it's nodded high and wide by Mulubwa. The skill and the pace. Captivating stuff by Piri. Couldn't ask for a better delivery. It was so against the Beauties. Chitundu. Massive gap through the middle. She does look offside, Piri, but she's wanting to finish it. She does well to poke it across the face, and it's eventually tapped home, and eventually the flag does go up. Very clever by Piri, but it counts for nothing. Second time already that she's been spotted offside, and she could have done a little bit better than that. She could have timed her run a little bit better, but second goal of the competition for her. No player has scored more than 2 goals in the competition so far. And they've been ripped open right here again in Ntopwa. They're going to concede again. Piri scores, or it might have come off the defender last, but it doesn't really matter. They've doubled their advantage. It's piercing stuff from Zesco Ndola girls. And they've capitalized once again on Ntopwa's mistake. The defense went to sleep again. And it crawled under the arms of Emily Nkwazi. Ndlovu with the presence of mind just to guide the ball across the face, and I think that might go down as an own goal. And a warm welcome back to you and yours for the second half between Zesco Ndola girls and Ntopwa Football Club. And that is how we left it. The Zambian outfit taking a commanding 2-goal lead against a struggling Ntopwa side that have conceded 8 goals in this competition, and they've scored none of their own. The halftime team talk would have been goal-focused, centered around trying to score, trying to get back into this game. But it is easier said than done, especially when Zesco Ndola looks so composed and settled in the middle. But there is some live wires for Ntopwa, the likes of which include Yosife and Sarah Mulimbika down their left-hand side. They can involve those two ladies more often than Ntopwa can maybe half the deficit. They did score a goal in the last competition they were involved in 2 years ago along South Africa's east coast. They got a goal then. They're still searching for a goal now. And we are expecting changes from both outfits. William Zulu's Zesco Ndola might have one eye on the semi-finals. It depends on other results. The result later today, the results tomorrow. But with one eye on the semi-finals, it might just be the opportune time to shuffle his pack just a little bit. No Ntopwa changes to begin the second half off. Mlambo donning the 10. She's introduced and takes the place of Dorothy Daka, who might have worn the number 9 on her back, but she was an additional number 6. Mubanga will in all likelihood take the place of Dorothy Daka. She'll sit in the midfield. And you can expect Mila Mlambo to be closer to the opposition's goal. Second half to come from the A.W. Miller Stadium here in the University of Johannesburg, in the city of Johannesburg. Joyce Tepe gets us underway for the second half. Ntopwa chasing the game like they have done twice before in the competition already. But they chased to no avail in those 2 matches. And can they perhaps extract some inspiration from the Mozambican side, Costa do Sol, and what they were able to produce yesterday, coming back from 2 goals down? First contribution here, maybe for the substitute. Yes, it is for Mila Mlambo. Misjudgment there on the edge of the box. Piri. More composed than most on the football. Judith Soko plays it to Piri. Might have been a handball there. The referee did have the whistle to her mouth and then took it away. Mary Chindeya. Yosife is on and in need of support. Chomba watches her. Banda into the box. Chomba puts her laces through it. It's careless stuff in the midfield, careless stuff. Some cross, what a touch, what a finish, what a goal. Instant impact from the substitute. Charity Mubanga with a great goal. Goal number 3 for Zesco Ndola. They scored just before half-time and they've scored just after half-time. And all 3 of the goals have been almost identical. No defender picking up the final striker in the box, and the goalkeeper was rendered helpless once again. The first touch did all the hard work for her. The second touch was telling. Charity Mubanga scores her first goal of the competition. And Ntopwa sink deeper and deeper. Unless a whisper in the ear of Joyce Tepe.
Yes,
VAR might just be checking a offside, I think. Didn't see a foul in the lead-up or in the build-up to the goal. Check is complete and the goal does stand. Zesco Ndola, 3 to the good. No team has scored more than 3 goals in this competition so far. And Zesco Ndola are playing with their tails up. Can they notch up a 4th? And really make a statement before the final 4 stage? Mulubwa, Piri, always on the move. Mubanga didn't arrive for her. Mary Chindeya slips and loses out. Judith Soko took it on and just let herself down with a loose touch. Likes to get forward, does Judith Soko. Didn't have too many opportunities to get forward against Mamelodi Sundowns because she was marking the likes of Mtandi and Tolakele and Khariete and Asanda Hadebe. And the Zambian outfit were so far from their best against Mamelodi Sundowns 2 days ago. They were so focused on stopping Mamelodi Sundowns that they themselves forgot to play their type of football, the type of football that brought them to the CAF Women's Champions League COSAFA qualifiers, the type of football they are playing today. Piri in a whole lot of space. Milan Lambo gives it away. Piri would really want that chance back. Chindeya. Banda on the run. Ntopwa was so defensively sound in that first half against the Beauties 48 hours ago. Anything but today. Their coach, Isaac Jomo Osman, would have told them to put what happened in the first half behind them and almost don't acknowledge the fact that they were down 2 goals to the good. They've conceded another and they might concede again. Swift defensive action by Ruth Nirongo. Uchinga. Banda to January. And January to Yosife, who takes it as best as she could. It was a difficult pass to deal with. And Chomba was quickly running out of room, and so she just needed to put the ball out for a throw-in instead of a corner kick. She just made that one rather simple save in the first half, did Hazel Nali. Other than that, she's been a mere spectator in this match, the Zambian goalkeeper. It could change now. Both these teams did not land on the score sheet in the last round, but Zesco Ndola girls have rediscovered their goal-scoring touch. Perhaps the best time to discover one's goal-scoring touch, just before the semi-finals get underway. How about that for a ball? Ruth Nirongo does what Ruth Nirongo does. And she intervenes yet again. She's been the most gritty defender for Ntopwa all competition long. Piri was offside again, this time a lot closer compared to other instances. Those two substitutes already combining and already getting involved. Charity Mubanga and Milan Lambo. Those two that have put their heads together and produced a corner kick for Zesco. One that's going to be taken by Milan Lambo. They do have the height advantage, ever so slightly, you would think, in Ntopwa. She had that really good header chance in the first half, did Chitundu. Couldn't take it, and she couldn't quite take this one. Difficult to deal with because the ball wasn't coming at speed. So she had to generate her own power with her header, which is almost impossible to do if it's looped like that. Shabelle Bengo, careless in possession. Banda, careful in possession. But they just can't make more than 3 or 4 passes in a row. They can't move the ball from the back all the way to the front. It will take quite some time to fix some of the glaring issues we've seen from Ntopwa in this competition. Some of the glaring issues that have surfaced yet again today. And as much as Ntopwa would deem it important to get a consolation goal, get their first goal of the tournament, results aren't everything, and they are definitely building a long-term project. Zesco Ndola eager to not only progress to the semi-finals, but certainly to try and win this competition. They're going to need some luck, not only to land in the semi-finals, but to land in the finals as well. Milam Lambo, brilliant run, a brilliant run that comes to an end. There's Muchinga and Walya. And the differing passing accuracies and the amount of passes is clear as day to see. Ntopwa works so hard off the ball, but they can work harder, try harder on the ball. Bonongwe, Banda. You could see that she wants to make something happen, but it can't just be her. Yosife needs to help in that respect, and so she does. Foul there in the center circle by Ruth Nirongo. Now this might be the first time Ntopwa and Zesco Ndola girls share this COSAFA qualification stage, but there has been a Malawi versus Zambia matchup before 2 years ago. Ntopwa put up a good fight against the Green Buffaloes, who are the fellow compatriots and fellow rivals of Zesco. Yosife. Banda. She's got Piri for company. She gets past her. Yosife can't find Shabelle Bengo. And they're being shut down here. On Ntopwa, they can't seem to move the ball through the defensive lines of Zesco Ndola. And we've seen them take the direct approach before. They took the direct approach against Mamelodi Sundowns and Beauties, and it did not work. They're trying something different this afternoon, something different that is also yet to work. The identity of their football style, the philosophy of Isaac Jomo Osman got them here to this competition. but it just hasn't been enough in this competition. Judith Soko saw that flick from Chitundu in the first half, and she managed to force a save out of Emily Nkwazi. Banda. Zesco Ndola have the numbers and they deal with it with ease. Chabelle Bengo gets past one. She needs to slip one through. There's a pass on there. There's a huge opening here for Ntopwa. For the first time in this match, Zesco Ndola looked unassured at the back. And it just looked for a moment that Ntopwa might convert and produce their first goal of the competition. Muchinga. Chitundu breezes past one. Finds Charity Mubanga, who chops inside, but she's read like a book. Banda. Chindeya. Can see a raft of changes being readied, including a potential goalkeeping substitution for Ntopwa. We'll have to wait and see. Half an hour left in this competition for Ntopwa. They've been battered and bruised, but still some of them are still smiling, still enjoying their football, because results aren't everything at the end of the day, especially in this competition, especially in the context of the women's game. There's bigger issues. Piri. Bigger issues like just simply amplifying the women's game in Malawi. They will get better year upon year, competition upon competition. But for now, the Malawian representatives, short of the necessary quality that is required to be truly competitive in this competition. Piri. Soko called for Mubanga. Ntopwa just can't seem to find one another. Zesco Ndola girls doing so with absolute ease. January, 71% of the ball belonging in the hands of Zesco Ndola girls. It is a startling possession statistic. That was a really nice pass by Chomba, even more so by Bwalya. And the move continues with Milam Lambo. Went past Piri. Mulubwa goes for a deflection. Slight deflection, I think. The goalkeeper did watch it and did lay her gloves on it. That could have ended up anywhere. And Mulubwa was well within her rights to try her luck from the edge of the box. She'll be eager to meet this corner kick. It's all dependent on the delivery Piri. Goalkeeper has come out, bravely so. Chitundu. Mila Mlambo! What a goal! An absolute blinding goal by Mila Mlambo. A tracer bullet that flew like a rocket and beat Emily Nkwazi all ends up. What a spectacular hit by the substitute. That shot packed a punch. So the goalkeeper did well initially to attend to the corner kick. Then she backtracked, she got back on her goal line, and she wasn't quite ready for that. She did get a fingertip to it, but nothing substantial. That is some goal. Not only the power, but the accuracy. And a lot of these players want to start the semi-final. Of course you do. And Mila Mlambo has definitely raised her hand for a possible start in a possible semi-final on Friday. And Isaac Jomo Osman is going to turn to his bench to give other ladies an opportunity, ladies that haven't had an opportunity before, like Bridget Daniel. So we've seen Sikelo in goal for Ntopwa, Emily Nkwazi in goal. And now we'll introduce to a new goalkeeper by the name of Bridget Daniel. Here's Emily Samuel. She started the first game against Mamelodi Sundowns, did Emily Samuel, then she was dropped against Beauty. She was dropped for this game, but she comes on as a substitute now to replace Bonongwe. Chochoma also sees her competition come to an end. And taking her place is Vitumbiko Mkandawawire. Chitindu, after scoring, her job is done, and Frida Kabwe takes the place of her captain. 4-0 down now on Ntopwa. And this is the biggest scoreline we've seen in the competition so far. We've seen some massive, massive scorelines in the past. But Zesco Ndola on course for the biggest winning margin of the competition so far. Mkandawawire, I must admit I was quite surprised not to see her start today. She did have a decent shift against Mamelodi Sundowns. And that ball has just trickled for a throw-in. Might have been a offside, it is. Club owner, head coach, Isaac Jomo Osman. He's loved his time in South Africa. Maybe hasn't loved what he's been seeing from his team. This is a learning experience, a learning curve, but unfortunately they haven't improved from the last edition. Chance again for perhaps number 5. It's her again. She flashes it across the face. There's Mila Mlambo. It first broke for Charity Mubanga, and they outnumbered Zesco Ndola in the box. Good stop from the third choice goalkeeper. And then the follow-up attempt has produced a corner kick. She wants an authoritative clearance. She's not going to get it. The header was won. And that is Frida Kabwe, a lady that can play a part in the midfield. She can play a part in the attack, and she has played her part throughout the league season for Zesco Ndola girls. Piri, one of the most soothing on the eye in terms of her style of play today. They haven't been able to match her so far. It's lifted over the top, perhaps from Kandawawire. Hazel Nali plays as a sweeper, and she's comfortable in doing so. These two teams may have had different experiences and different outcomes in this event, but both were very well aware that it was going to require an immense effort to escape this group, the so-called group of death. But Zesco Ndola have done ever so well to stay alive in this group of death and to give themselves a chance of qualifying for the semi-finals for the very first time, at the very first time of asking. We'll look at the goals. That was the first, scored by their captain, Chitundu, after going close, just minutes prior. And then this was an own goal. Ndlovu was responsible for conjuring up the second and then the third by the one substitute, Charity Mubanga. It was a brilliantly taken goal, but then this goal is the pick of the bunch. Some stunner. I've seen some spectacular goals already in this competition. A few free kick goals, a few strikes from outside of the box, a few well-worked moves. Tiki-taka like in nature. And as for some teams like Ntopwa, they just haven't been able to get going. They just haven't been able to start their attacking engines. Piri, so intelligent. And she moves effortlessly. Finds Judith Soko. 3 in the box for Soko to try and pick out. She picks out neither one of those 3, but she was offside. She was onside there, it seems like, from that angle. Appeared as if Joyce Makoya was playing Judith Soko onside, but difficult to judge when players are running at full speed and going full tilt. Shabelle Bengo. And the Zesco Ndola ladies, unlike their counterparts, have no past experience to call upon in this competition. But they will take inspiration from the likes of Green Buffaloes, the one and only team still to this day to have defeated Mamelodi Sundowns in this competition. And they did so in the grand final. Hazel Nali. And Ntopwa have already played against teams in this competition with very fine resumes, both in this competition and their last visit to South Africa 2 years ago. And speaking of resumes, Zesco Ndola went through the 34-game season undefeated, winning 31 of those. And that is the young Buffaloes of Eswatini watching this game unfold, taking some notes, you would suspect. The Young Buffaloes came from a goal down against Lesotho's Kick for Life women yesterday, who scored their first goal of the competition in the opening minutes. And then Young Buffaloes responded by scoring 3 and then conceding none and winning that one 3-1, giving them a chance of progression. But nothing is yet set in stone. Mulubwa is off. She's given a good pat on the back by the supporting staff and the coaches. Elise Piri gets her first run out of the competition, her first few minutes. Final passage of play awaits us. Final passage of play before the 3 p.m. kickoff, before all eyes turn to Mamelodi Sundowns versus Namibia's Beauties. Sundowns have been quite controlling and domineering, but they have afforded teams hope in matches. Piri, not a bad cross. Muchinga. Still Muchinga up against Mulimbika. Piri. That's not the pass Judith Soko was hoping for. Kandawawire, Yosife, Shabal Bengo. January. Closed out and closed down. Shabal Bengo tries to pass the ball into space when perhaps passing it to feet is the much better option. Piri, they can't touch her. Muchinga. Good awareness from her to spread the play. And then the cross is delivered and it's flicked on wide by Frida Kabwe. Living dangerously again on Ntopwa, in danger of conceding the 5th goal. Here goes Piri. Can she go all the way? What a goal! It was coming. It truly was coming. And if you think Milam Lambo's goal was good, this might just be even better. Piri, one to watch out for if Zesco Ndola girls are to make it through to the semi-finals. What a statement goal, what a statement performance from her and from her team. Defenders dropping like flies. Defenders chasing shadows and coming nowhere near to Zambia's and Zesco Ndola's number 7. The run was great and the finish extra emphatic. Another impressive display by Piri. This is exactly the response William Zulu would have wanted after his team went down by a single goal to nil to Mamelodi Sundowns. And this result will massively boost their goal difference, although it does need to be said that the results of other teams against the team that finishes last in the group will not count. This result will not count for Zesco Ndola, the points and the goals. So after this match they will remain on 3 points and await their fate. Banda, should be a corner kick. Subdued appeals for a handball by Banda, but she'll have to settle for just a corner. Only the second corner of the game for Ntopwa. They were the first to have a corner, the first corner that arose in, I think it was the 3rd or 4th minute. They haven't had a corner kick since then. Delivered, and Chomba gets her head to it. Mlambo can't escape, and she can't get it clear. And they've got more defensive work to deal with, to do. It's been a 5-star display by Zesco Ndola girls. Can Ntopwa score their first goal of the competition? Yes, they can. It's finally come. They are off the mark from a direct corner kick. And the goal scorer, Rose Alufandika, scores. Not a great bit of goalkeeping, but she won't mind that at all. She's been doing the unwanted defensive work all competition long. She's been put under pressure all competition long in that Ntopwa defense, but now she's only gone and scored their first goal of the 2025 CAF Women's Champions League COSAFA qualifiers. Or has she? She has. 5-1. And it would have been quite demoralizing if Ntopwa were to have exited this competition without scoring a single goal. But that ends. They've gotten rid of the monkey on their back. And when Ntopwa last faced Zambian opposition in this competition, it was under different conditions, under a different context. And in that match against the Green Buffaloes, they still had hopes of reaching the semi-finals. Today they do not, and they only lost that game against the Green Buffaloes by a 1-0. Isaac Joma Osman did promise that they were going to try their best to score their first of the competition, and they've done precisely that. And Ntopwa have always had this threat from the set piece, but it finally came to the fore there with that close range header by Rose Alufandika. Charity Mubanga to Mila Mlambo. It's a clever touch. And the goalkeeper hangs on. Bridget Daniel holds on and rolls it out to Banda. January hits and hopes. A staggering 19 goal attempts in this game for Zesco Ndola girls. Only the 4 for Ntopwa. Which goes to show they hardly ever really enter the opposition's box. And 13 of those 19 Zesco Ndola attempts were on target. Kabwe pressurizes. The possession getting more and more one-sided as we get closer to the 90 minutes. Ntopwa did watch last season how Ascent Soccer Academy represented Malawi in this competition. And Ascent Soccer Academy did finish last in their group last year, but they did win one match and they were highly competitive in their other two matches. They were involved in a 5-goal thriller with the finalists Gaborone United. So yes, Ascent Soccer Academy may have finished last in their group last year, but they left their mark on the competition. And as impressive as Ascent Soccer Academy were last season, as good as the Lilongwe-based side were throughout the season, Ntopwa were better. Ntopwa beat them in the FAM National Women's Championship final through a nail-biting penalty shootout, but they did beat them nonetheless. The team that defeated Ascent Soccer Academy in that final, the team that performed ever so well in those playoff championships, is not the same team we've seen throughout this competition. But the lights, as we all know, can be blinding. Rosife Chomba did just about enough. Ubanga. Kabwe is through. The goalkeeper has come off her line. Frida Kabwe across the face. It doesn't reach. Piri, it does now. She goes back to Kabwe. Tight angle. Some finish, but offside. Nearly becoming the third substitute to score in this game, Frida Kabwe. She was onside there, but not there. The goalkeeper was in front of the ball, or in front of the last attacker. So you do need to have two players behind the goalkeeper if the goalkeeper comes off her line, which was the case, and I think that's exactly what they're checking now. So although Kabwe was in front of the goalkeeper, two of her defenders were there trying to protect the goal. Seen a few goal checks in this game. No goal has been chalked off or turned around. And the wait goes on. Two players back for Ntopwa. I think that's what the VAR might lay off to the referee. No, it is in fact offside. So we need a review of the rules. Have another look at the rules. Be that as it may, it wasn't going to change the match all that much. The outcome is locked, but by how much is still a mystery. Kabwe. So we have nearly arrived at the conclusion of this Group A, but as for the other groups, Group B remains unresolved and Group C remains unresolved. It will either be last year's finalists, Gaborone United, or Eswatini's Young Buffaloes, or even Kick for Life if they can shock the world. All three of those teams in Group B could mathematically top that group and progress to the semi-finals. And it will either be Costa do Sol or Olympic de Moroni for top spot in Group C. And two teams from those two groups could quite easily qualify if this Zesco Ndola win is discarded, like the competition's rules stipulate. January, space for Banda. January does well to find Banda. Banda goes for it, and she puts it in the top corner. Banda with a banger of a goal. Assist for January. And her first goal at the 2025 CAF Women's Champions League COSAFA qualifiers. Her first goal in this competition. And she's been one of their best in the second half, and it's no surprise that she has done exactly that. Technique, stupendous. Hazel Nali, the goalkeeper of Zesco Ndola girls, will be disappointed in the manner in which she conceded that goal. But take nothing away from the delicate finish. The finish that didn't require power, but rather placement and precision and curation. Another check is on the go. Seems like the goal will stand. Ntopwa have not only scored their first goal of the competition in this match, they've got their second. And yes, their fate was already sealed when this match got underway, when they lost 3-0 to Beauties. And I said they weren't going to go out silently and bow out of the competition without making some kind of an impact. And it turns out they've made two. They've scored twice. Shabalbengo, then Alufandika puts an up and under into the sky. And as interesting as this match was, the 3 o'clock match will be interesting too. And tomorrow should be another action-packed day, a day filled with tension and last-ditch attempts for the semi-finals. We're bound to see one of the semi-finalists in action tomorrow, possibly even both. It all depends on the respective outcomes. And tomorrow is made even more fascinating and exciting by the fact that the winners of Group B will face the winners of Group C in the one semi-final. But here goes Mkanda Wawire. This is a late surge and a late show by Ntopwa. Where was this all competition long? She did play with some purpose against Mamelodi Sundowns and the Beauties. She did stand out for them. She nearly stood out again. Yes, the angle was acute. Zesco Ndola have most certainly stepped off the gas in the last 15 minutes or so. They were up 5 goals to the good, and then Ntopwa scoring 2. Just to make this tie seem a little bit closer. Banda can't keep it in. Final minutes of this game, final minutes of the competition for Ntopwa's campaign. And they did play with pride this afternoon, which is literally all that that man could have asked for. This match is heading for its end. Group A is heading for its end. So be sure not to miss Mamelodi Sundowns versus Beauties for the very first time at 3 o'clock sharp. This match, the appetizer to that one, and the appetizer has been comfortably won by Zesco Ndola girls. Now, did the referee blow the full-time whistle? Everyone is not too sure what is going on. There were a few seconds left. She did call an end to the action very early on in the first half. She could have let the play continue for another 30 seconds. And she might even call it quits again. I don't think their stopwatches are synced up. And I suppose you could quite easily end the game now. Because what's the point of stopping and then continuing for only 10 seconds, 15 seconds? Play of the match, quite comfortably so. Undisputedly, undeniably. Piri. She has caused trouble all game long. But that final goal of hers was something out of this world. Last few seconds of the second last game in Group A. Yosife is through. Can she round the goalkeeper? She doesn't need to. She scores number 3 for Ntopwa, who might be defeated. But what a way to bow out. If there is any way to bow out of a competition, this is it. We were wondering if they were even going to score a goal in this match, in this competition, and they've scored 3 goals in less than 15 minutes. This is the team that won their region, won the playoff championships, defeated Ascent Soccer Academy. This is the Ntopwa that some have, or most have, come to know and love over the last few months and years. And it certainly won't feel like a defeat, this one, for Ntopwa, although the scoreline might suggest so. They're going to push for number 4. I've seen a 4-0 lead turned around before. Newcastle against Arsenal a few years ago. That's the one that comes to my mind. But a 5-0 lead? Haven't seen that before. But they have put on some show to end this match off. They've played their part in Ntopwa. And they really have expressed themselves to the fullest extent in the second half. But in the end, they were nowhere near as good as Zesco Ndola ladies, who scored 2 goals in the first half, 3 goals in the second half, and Ntopwa themselves also conjured up 3 goals in the second period. Ever since yesterday, we've been witnesses to so much action and entertainment. And that hasn't changed. What a start to the day. 8 goals in this first match. And this 12 o'clock kickoff was something to enjoy. tomorrow's 12 o'clock kickoff between Gaborone United and Kick for Life should be just as enjoyable, followed by that final group match of the competition, the Herentals Queens and Olympic de Moroni. Thereafter, only 4 clubs remain standing. The semi-finals are destined for Friday, but the match the whole of the Southern African region is yearning for and yearning to see will only take place on Sunday. We have no idea what the final matchup will be, but we do know how this one ends. Zesco Ndola girls 5, Ntopwa 3. What a goal show. And those statistics tell a whole lot to talk about, many talking points, and I presume that the coach of Ntopwa, Isaac Jomo Osman, will be a much happier man. This is the team that he has nursed over the last few years. This is the best version of Ntopwa that we've seen all competition long. And they really pushed Zesco Ndola girls, especially in those final 20 minutes. But in the end, they left it too late. And they paid the price and they exit the competition. And they end the competition off as 4th place, or in 4th place in Group A. And Zesco Ndola will learn their fate later this afternoon and tomorrow as well. Considering that Ntopwa finished rock bottom in this group, this result for Zesco Ndola will count for nothing. So they end on 3 points, and I think many teams will be ending on 3 points. So it's probably going to go down to goal difference to decide who will penetrate the semi-finals. But an entertaining match to call nonetheless. It's going to be fascinating to hear what the coaches have to say, and it seems like William Zulu has been called for the interview first, and the coaches are ready. So that's it from us in the commentary booth. Here's William Zulu.
And now we are joined by the winning coach, William Zulu. Congratulations, coach. Your thoughts, please.
We came all the way, scored 5 goals. Now my players lost concentration, got tired. We started now allowing 3 goals. It's unfortunate that it's fortunate that we have won. Otherwise, I'm not happy anymore.
What makes you not so happy, coach?
We have allowed easy goals. We were supposed to clear those goals, but we allowed them to come in and score those three goals.
What was the key to your team's success in this match, and what do you take from this tournament going forward, coach?
Our key was to win the tournament. Our key was to win the tournament, then going to CAF. Now it has become so difficult. I know we might be considered playing in the semi-finals. We'll wait and see what will happen, but we are still going to fight if we stay.
How do you think this win will impact your team's morale and momentum moving forward?
The morale is still high. The only problem we have is we have played back-to-back the games. So my players have got tired, fatigue. So for tomorrow's we are going to rest. It will be good for us so that they recover. Because the recovery period is too small for our players. That's the problem.
Thank you, coach.
You're welcome.
Ntopwa.
Yeah.
And now we are joined by coach Isaac Osman. Hadla, coach, you are smiling. You finally found the back of the net.
I'm proud. I'm proud of my girls. You have seen the way we have played, and you're gonna see the way my team is. I have a young, talented team. So to me, I'm proud of them. It's not about all winning. It's about motivation of the young talented girls.
Coach, you managed to come back scoring 3 goals for the first time in this tournament. What's your take and what do you take from this tournament, specifically today's match?
I think when you see all the games, our problem was about scoring. We tried, the scoring was a problem. So I'm very proud because we are going out with 3 goals. That is important. We are going to start from there.
How do you think your team can build on this experience for future tournaments?
There's a lot of experience that we get from here in Joburg. My girls, as you see, some of them, they are very young. It's their first time to be here. And for me as a coach, I've got another experience because I saw how other coaches have managed their team, even the organization of the teams, even the organization of the tournament. That thing will help me when I go back to organize my team and organize myself.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.